What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls 2. First things first, I'm going to equip the ring that I bought a couple of episodes ago from Xiaoqua, the Silvercat ring. And the purpose of the Silvercat ring is to reduce the amount of damage you take from falling. And what that is going to enable us to do is it's going to allow us to make a very precarious fall right onto this wooden plank. If you're playing online and you see tons of bloodstains of Majula around this area, it's usually because people have mistaken that fall to be non-lethal and fallen to their deaths trying to get down into this pit. Now, that doesn't entirely mean that you can't make any lethal falls here. That's certainly one area where you can still get yourself killed even with the Silvercat ring equipped. But as long as you have the ring on, you're at least able to survive some of the falls in this area. And if you make enough falls with the ring equipped and survive, you can make it down here into the Grave of Saints. If you fall a little bit further down, you can actually go straight into the gutter, which leads directly into the Black Gulch. I wanted to come out into the Grave of Saints first, and that is more sleeping people. It must be nap time. I wanted to come down into the Grave of Saints because, well, there's really no sense in skipping an optional boss. I am doing all of the optional bosses throughout this Let's Play. I don't know if I've actually mentioned that yet. Plus, there are some cool things here that I don't want to miss, including a really amazing NPC, who might in some way be related to what we're fighting right now. So you might notice that the status effect build-up bar that's right in the center of the screen, it looks a little bit different from anything you might have seen either thus far in the Let's Play or from anything that you've seen in Dark Souls, because it's technically a new status ailment. In Dark Souls 1, there was a status effect called Curse, and what would happen when you were cursed is, well, immediately you would be killed upon being cursed, and you would also, upon respawning at a bonfire, you would have your health locked to, I believe it was 50%. In Dark Souls 2, Curse doesn't work that way anymore, even though Curse itself is still in the game. Being cursed no longer gets you killed. It reduces your maximum health by 5% every time you get cursed, just like dying does. The status effect that you're going to see a lot in here, the new one, is called Petrification, which has the death side effect that cursing had in Dark Souls 1. So if you become petrified, you will simply die. The other status effect you're going to see a lot here is Poison, which functions pretty much exactly the same as it did before. Wait, Fated by Dark Spirit Rhoy the Explorer? This is interesting. When the first time I came through here on my other character, I never saw this NPC invasion, so... Oh, that's kind of interesting too. Let me try to draw out some of the ads before I fight him. I can't tell what weapon he's using, and from the looks of it, I think... Oh, god damn it! That's not good. The AI for Black Phantom invasions, it tends to be way better than the AI for normal enemies, because they'll do things like read your inputs and dodge at the right time. They'll use a wider variety of attacks. Some of them will parry and riposte you, and some of them will also guard break you. This is dangerous. This is really dangerous. So it looks like he's using the invisible armor set that I talked about that you can get from the armorer in Majula, which is invisible and it increases your equipment load. It looks like he's using that armor set, And the reason I think his weapons are invisible is because he probably has on 2 rings that you get for completing a very specific challenge within the game, a very difficult one too. If you beat the game without ever resting at a bonfire, you get a ring which makes the weapons in one of your hands totally invisible. That's if you beat the game without resting at a single bonfire. If you beat the game without ever dying, you get a ring that goes along with that that makes your weapon or shield in the opposite hand completely invisible. There's at least one chance to do some damage. This has been such a poor fight, and that was not a good decision either. Yeah, and he builds up bleed really quick, which, yeah, you could see the effect that bleed has I was talking about when I went through No Man's Wharf, where for a short period of time it cuts your stamina in half, aside from the fact that it just does damage. I've been fighting this guy for like 2 minutes. This is way harder than most of the bosses in this game. Oh, shit. I need to just finish this. Yeah. I put on such a tedious I was gonna call him a boss fight. I just put on like a 3.5 minute tedious ass fight. That's amazing. Most of these Pharaoh's contraptions around here, you should not go ahead and waste a lockstone on. Most of them are traps. Most of them will corrode your armor, or they'll cause corrosive liquid to spew out of the walls, or poison. The one that I did trigger back there was the one to lower the bridge. I think there's another one on a different floor. But the Grave of Saints is not a terribly long level. In fact, the second bonfire up here on the second floor is right outside of the boss fog. We're already at the boss. And if not for the fact that I took so long dealing with that phantom, this would be like a 3 or 4 minute level. Ah! How the hell did the rat get there? Come on, come on. Okay, so I'm gonna try out a strategy that I've never used for this boss before, so I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm gonna rely a lot on two-handing the greatsword for this one. The greatsword that we picked up behind Gavlan in the wharf last episode. But it's super heavy, so I'm gonna have to be going into this boss fight basically naked. This, like I was saying, is not a strategy I've used before, but what I'm hoping is gonna happen is I'm gonna be able to clear some of these rats out with the range, damage, and really good moveset of the greatsword. The greatsword is like one of my favorite movesets I've found in the game so far. Especially, there's this... Ooh, gotta get by him, push past. When you're two-handing it and you use the R2 attack, the strong attack, it does this, which is really nice. It's the spinning, sweeping attack, which I'm hoping I can actually use to clear a couple out at a time once I get them into a choke point. All of these rats build petrification up on you, so it's pretty dangerous to be hit by several of them in a corner. Luckily, though, you can kind of corral them between the lanes created by the statues, and it makes for a nice little effective choke point. Also, I'm noticing some immediate flaws in my plan to use the greatsword, which is that I'm still not entirely used to the way aiming swings works in this game. If I haven't mentioned it before, you can now change the direction that you're swinging in. It no longer necessarily goes in the direction that you have, that you're locked onto. It's based on, I think, the direction you hold the left stick. So if you're holding the left stick back, or left or right to dodge or move in a direction after you've swung, you'll actually, like right there, shit. You will actually swing in that direction and completely miss whatever you're swinging at. That's one big drawback. And the range is not being as helpful as I was hoping, but it is almost one-shotting them. It's only really taken 2 combos. I think the R2 has been killing him one shot. Okay, after you kill enough rats, or after enough time has passed, I'm not sure which, you'll see this guy, the Royal Rat Vanguard with a mohawk, come after you. And, oh, I'm almost dead. The Vanguard has very little health, but he is flanked by dozens of rats who respawn over the course of the fight, so you can never really thin them out dramatically. They respawn pretty quickly. So you want to try to get him out in the open on himself. This fight kind of feels like fighting phalanx, except instead of these immobile, weak little hoplites, they are rats that inflict petrification on you. Imagine if the phalanx fight was actually a little bit tough. This is a really fun fight, though. It's also one of the harder ones in the game, probably top 10 at least. You can kind of brute force him down. You just have to lure him out a little bit. One thing you might have noticed, though, it only takes him 1 hit to inflict poison on you. As soon as he hits you 1 time, you are poisoned. Oh, shit. He really does like to hide behind his rats, too. And you can't really do anything except be patient, otherwise you risk taking a lot of damage, or you risk outright being killed by the petrification. So you kinda... you can afford to just bide your time. You see how much damage he takes. There's the opportunity. Oh, no, 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 I'm out of stamina. And it totally missed. That could be bad. I have no more Estus, and that was a bad roll! By virtue of nothing but pure luck did I escape that last roll. I have to finish this fight off. Once you actually kill the Vanguard, all of the other rats cease to be hostile, so you don't actually have to clear the rest of them out, so I can just kind of go for it now. Oh, there's the swinging screwing me up again. No, don't run away from me, and I'm poisoned. Yeah, that was dicier than it should have been. Look at them all, look at the path and go nuts. They can't figure out how to navigate around each other. Ideally, I would have loved to have done that with a shield and a spear, so I could just hide behind the shield and still attack, but let's meet a really cool NPC.
Leave this place, human. We have no time for thy kind. Humans bring nothing but filth. Is that a rat tail, human? Thou'st one of mine rat burrows conquered. This will not go unnoticed. Rejoice, for the right to serve me is now thine. Since thou'rt human still, permit me ask, wilt thou thy human soul surrender and pledge thyself to me? Swearest thou by the sweet-tempered sludge that laps at our bosoms?
Damn right I will, my noble rat lord. Master Splinter?
Thou hast the eyes of one who perceiveth true beauty. Human, thou mayst serve. Take this ring. It was forged by a human who was once among us. The ring draws to thee those who would defile our burrow. Wear the ring whenever thou'rt near, and destroy those who would dare provoke our ire. I will grant unto thee all thou shouldst so desire. I prithee serve with a true rat's honor.
I wonder who the human he was mentioning was. Also, that skeleton, I don't want to talk too much about who that skeleton might be yet, but we are in the Grave of Saints, and that skeleton, I believe, belongs to one named Saint Harval, not to be confused with Havel. I think it's Harval, which is also the name of the bonfire that you rest at, either in the very beginning or the one right before the boss fog. It's Harval's resting place. I think that's the skeleton of Saint Harval, for who the Grave of Saints is named after. Although, because it's plural, it makes me wonder if it's also referring to some of the other saints of the game, which include the saint mentioned in the Sublime Bone Dust, assuming that's someone else. I theorized about this last time, but I think the Sublime Bone Dust might be referencing either Lord Gwyn or the player, or even Solaire being the saint who cast himself into the bonfire, which may have been referring to the first flame. Or it could be another saint mentioned in the game called Saint Soretta, I believe. She's mentioned in some armor description, I can't remember which one. She was sick and eventually succumbed to her sickness and died, and I don't think much more is noted about her other than that. So, could be a grave for all of these people, but Harval is an important one. What thought process was I on? Oh, I'm curious about who the Rat King was talking about when he says that there was once a human among them. Because the only thing that I think of when I think of rats in the Souls games are the Clever Rat's Ring and the Dull Rat's Ring from Demon Souls, and the Dull Rat's Ring belonged to Lord Ridiel, who was... what did the description on that ring call him? Little Allant? So he might have been Allant's cousin, brother, something along those lines. If you're wondering why I'm not dropping down to fight these guys, you notice they have glowing orange stomachs. They will... oh, shit! That scared the hell out of me. Yeah, they throw themselves on the ground near you and explode. And you have two little islands in this circular room. On the islands, you move at normal speed. That's where you want to be if you actually have to face these sons of bitches. If you're in the water, you move very slowly, and it makes it hard to get out of the way once they hurl themselves on the ground and they explode. And it takes, I think with this much health, they will probably two-shot me, so going with the bow is a measure of precaution. So since I joined up with the Rat King, who is awesome, I should probably describe what that covenant does. The Rat Covenant is similar to the Forest Covenant in Dark Souls, in that it's about killing trespassers. Now, I don't intend to do any PvP, I just really like the Rat King, so I'll pledge allegiance to him. The way the Covenant works is that you equip the Covenant Ring, and anyone in the Grave of Saints or another area later in the game called the Doors of Pharaohs, who are not in the Covenant, can get summoned to you for you to fight. Which means you can activate traps for trespassers. You saw all those trap Pharos lockstone doors back up in the grave that emitted corrosive and poisonous liquid. And all of the enemies in the area become your ally while you fight off trespassers. So something really mean people have been doing is using bonfire aesthetics to strengthen the enemies in the area. So when someone trespasses, they fight you, plus buffed up rats. Which is an awesome use of that item. Yeah, it's a covenant about being unfair as shit in PvP. I really despise the wood creaking noise in this game. I can't remember if it's the same wood creaking noise, but for some reason, right now, it stands out to me so badly. Such an obnoxious sound. So, the look of this place might be a little bit familiar to you if you played, I don't know, Demon Souls or Dark Souls. It's almost become kind of a recurring theme in these games that, you know, you always have the Moonlight Greatsword, that's a staple in all of FromSoft's games. You always have some form of patches. You always have a couple of recurring elements. Apparently, the Valley of Defilement and Blighttown have become just that, staples of the series. So we've now entered the gutter. You can see that it is pitch black down here, and you just saw one of these statues shoot a lava poison, a hawk poison loogies at you. Down here in the gutter, which is basically Blighttown 2.0 or Valley of Defilement 3.0, we're gonna see so many of these statues. Just a little bit further in past the first bonfire. Oh, I like that. We're not going to be able to go more than maybe 15 feet without seeing at least 7 statues. Now, I'm going to end the episode once I find my way over to the first bonfire, which... Oh, god damn it! That scared me. I'm going to end the episode here. I'll talk about why I hate the gutter next time. And we will progress onwards through the gutter and into the Black Gulch. Till then, thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.